what the heck is a Johnny Pag, and why is it in my shop, all that and more.
Wait, there's more?
No, there's no more, but all that, cue the intro, little tiny intro, right now. This is a 2014 300cc, fuel injected, the model is Pro Street Johnny Pag, but it looked just like the Spider, spelled with a Y, that they also make, and when we bought it, it said it was a Falcon 320. So honestly, I kind of have no idea what this thing is. I also have no clue why it says Pagsta when I thought the name of the company was Johnny Pag, and this model is not actually called a Pagsta. It says Pagsta down here too, so I'm very confused about this bike. What I do know is that Johnny Pag is an American motorcycle company. To be precise, it's a California motorcycle company. Designed in California, built in, and this is where it gets a little controversial, Mordor. No wait, China. Who do they think they are? Who do you think you are, Johnny Pag? Harley Davidson? You can just build your bikes in China and no one cares about it? Some of the Harley Davidsons are built in China. Not the ones that they sell in America though, but just some of them. But what Johnny, I assume the owner's name was Johnny, what Johnny from Johnny Pag was trying to accomplish was to build a cool looking motorcycle that had a smaller engine and was inexpensive. This thing brand new had an MSRP of $49.99, less than $5,000. And look at me, this has an engine slightly bigger than a Honda Rebel. I'm 6'2". This feels like a full-size bike. It feels like I'm riding a Softail. I mean, it's just a big bike. And to be honest with you, I hate to say this as an American, but you don't need a 1500cc motor. A little 300cc motor will get you around town, will get you on the highway, will do most of the stuff you want to do. There's no spot, well there's a spot, actually there's a spot for a back person. So you can put a very small back person on here, you're not going to go very fast. But it's a pretty cool concept, and it was a good way for him to get in the door and to sell motorcycles for pretty cheap. And there's a big market for people who want, you know, it's an entry-level bike. I mean, it's got forward controls, pretty good-looking forward controls. This thing is rocking an oil-cooled, that's actually an oil cooler right there. It looks like a water cooler, but it's an oil cooler. An oil-cooled parallel twin combined with a 5-speed gearbox, pushing out, I think, 26 horsepower, which might not seem like a lot of horsepower. You're like 26 horsepower, but chances are your lawnmower has like 7 horsepower. And it gets you around. Quadruple that and add a little bit more. Does it? I don't know. We'll take it for a spin in a little bit. We'll see how it does. So even though MSRP was $49.99, and even though this bike is still basically a brand new bike with 40 miles on it, the price now is $2,000 something, which is pretty cheap. And it's got a lot of cool features. For $2,000 something, you are getting a seat, a tank. It's got 2 brakes, actually 3 brakes, all discs, and it fires up. It's actually fuel injected. It also has this cool looking, very similar to a Harley Davidson style ignition switch. All the buttons and the fit and finish and stuff looks pretty decent. That's a mean sounding motorcycle. And what's cool about it is it's simple and it's basic and it's fuel injected and it fires right up and you're not gonna have to deal with too much stuff on the bike. I think what Johnny Pag was trying to do with this bike is actually pretty awesome. An inexpensive, cool looking bike that anyone of any size could hop on. What were you giving up? Big power, big performance. That's not what a cruiser bike is all about. It's all about just getting around and enjoying the outside. And then you're also giving up paying big money for it. You know, the top line Harley Davidson's around $52,000. This was $5,000. If you tried to take your Honda Rebel, which is still a smaller bike that I feel really cramped on. If you tried to take your Honda Rebel and modify it to be as cool looking as this, 1, you would never get there. 2, it would cost you thousands more than what this bike would cost. And this is probably even more powerful. And I'm not exactly sure, I've not ridden it yet. But we will ride a little bit. Now, I'm not saying go and sell your Harley Davidson or your Indian Scout to buy this motorcycle. But this is a lot of motorcycle for the money, considering it's $2,000-ish. But what I am saying is that in 50 years from now, a Johnny Pag motorcycle will be an important artifact in the American motorcycle story. And you owning one of these connects you to that. Let's go take it for a spin. It's America right there. And it's got a fuel gauge. Alright guys, so I don't have a, normally I have a Bible verse on my phone, but Harrison's gonna put one up right on the screen. It's gonna be awesome. So this bike actually feels pretty decent. I mean, it's got big, thick handlebars. I like the seating position. It is a small motor. It has no, you know, small motors have the sound of a small motor. There's no big growl or anything like that. But other than that, I mean, I think it, well, we'll just keep on riding it. Wow, there's no possible way. Oh, that's kilometers? It's kind of weird. Well, the speedometer is telling me kilometers an hour. So, that's awesome. The controls though, the clutch, the throttle, the brakes, they all feel like quality parts. I assume I'm going the speed limit as of right now. Let's talk about some pros of this bike. You can floor it, pretty much any gear, in any traction. Not that the traction's that great, it's just not a very powerful bike. But, like I was saying before, if I had nothing, and I'm still cruising down the road, looking cool, saying, "Hey" to my buddies, you know what I mean? That's still cool. That's still awesome. I'm still having fun. I'm still riding a bike. I still have the air, the very, very cold air, hitting my face. Burning my face with how cold the air is. You know what I mean? This is still a... Even though I'm riding a Chinese bike, it was still designed by an American who, in fact, was out there living the American dream, making his own motorcycle company. You got to start somewhere. And you can't not respect it. You can be like, "Oh, it's a dumb looking bike." But when if you knew the guy, you'd be like, "Hey, Johnny Pag." I wish I knew that his name was Johnny Pag. I don't know if it is. But if you knew the guy, you'd be like, "Yo, Johnny Pag, he started his own motorcycle company," which is probably more than you may have done. I'm pretty sure maybe you do have your own motorcycle company. There are some few guys. It'd be a great video to kind of dive into all the other American motorcycle companies who have tried. And you know what? They're going to continue trying because we're Americans. And that's all we do. You can't put us down. Watch this. Yeah. America. So I'm actually pretty impressed with this bike, what it can do, the performance of it. You know, I knew it was not going to be fast. I suspected it might feel cheap, but it doesn't. It really does not feel cheap. And I'll tell you this, if you wanted to build a one-off, if you were going to build one motorcycle as cheap as you possibly could, it would cost you either it wouldn't look this good, but if you did make it look this good, it'd cost you 20,000 bucks to do it. That's just a fact, you know what I mean? Just building every little piece, making every little piece, outsourcing every little piece. I'm pretty pumped, pretty pleased. But it's not a dog though. It's just not a monster. For the average person, this might be all you need.